The very popular chicken wing brand Drummies have been banned in Plainview. Now, let me ask you a question. As a regular person, what would you do if Drummies were banned? You know, I think it's a pretty simple answer. You just can't eat them, right? But that's not the case for Greg here. You see, Greg does not give a shit if Drummies are banned. He's gonna take matters into his own hands because of how popular and delicious they are. And that's what this story is about today. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to reading the weirdest Diary of Wimpy Kid fanfiction stories we can find, where today we got a pretty cool story ahead of us where Drummies are banned in Plainview and Greg he needs those Drummies, so he takes matters into his own hands and creates his own version of Drummies. Now, this was actually recommended to me by this person right here, so thank you very much for recommending the story. So basically, the whole gimmick of this story is Breaking Bad, but with chicken wings. Let's not waste any more time, let's hop into baking Drummies. This is gonna be a good one. If there's one thing we love in Plainview, it's Drummies. You know, those chicken wings. The ones Mayor Roy outlawed last year. While most of the city gave up on Drummies pretty easily, some of us couldn't go a day without Drummies. May I please have just one Drummie? No. I don't care if Drummies aren't good for you. I want some right now. Of course, when there's any sort of rule, the kids at my school try to break it right away, and it got so bad they had to check our bags for Drummies. After Teddy Caldwell was expelled for hiding Drummies in his locker for a month, we all just kind of figured that was it. No more Drummies. Okay, hold on, before we continue, hiding Drummies in his locker for a month, that is a frozen product, I believe, in one of the books that you find in the frozen food aisle. So if this guy had it in his locker for a month, that shit would go moldy in a week. What is he doing? That was when I learned about the underground Drummie scene from Albert Sandy at lunch. The story was that some kids who worked at the grocery store stole a box of Drummies and copied the recipe to make their own and got rich. He said that if we wanted to be rich as well, we should start selling our own Drummies. Well, long story short, that's my backstory. I'm Greg Heffley, Drummie Master of Plainview Middle School. It isn't easy being the top Drummie maker in Plainview. Thankfully, I have all that I need. A place to cook, my Uncle Gary's old trailer, and a business partner, my buddy Rowley. Not even 6 seconds after we perfected the recipe that fateful day, we had a visitor. Thankfully, we were able to hide in the bathroom until Meekly went away, and that was when I found a note taped to our door. No Drummies on our land. We cook here. Catch you again, we call in Mr. Alfredo. I don't know who Mr. Alfredo was, and I really didn't want to find out. That was when it hit me. I wasn't the only drummer maker in our area. Anyway, business went on for a while. Some idiot had tried using a regular Drummie box to hide theirs in, so we knew we had to get creative if we wanted to remain undetected. At first we tried using people to smuggle our Drummies places, but we learned pretty fast that was a bad idea. Head stuffed with Drummies. The part we didn't think through is that chicken would smell in a costume all day. Needless to say, our first attempts failed. Now, do you know who did have the transport game down pat? Leland of all people. Turns out those anime books he has came in handy. Hollowed out book, hides Drummies inside. Leland's not my only competition in Plainview. In fact, more and more Drummie dealers are popping up daily. Of course, most of these people are idiots who got caught their first day. Thankfully, someone was able to assassinate the last big ring in Plainview, which allowed me and Rowley to rise to the top pretty quick. Even though we had made it to number 1, I knew if we wanted to stay there, we would need some serious help. Thankfully, I think I know a guy. Peter Tornabus, who runs the Papa Tony's chain. Tuesday. Last night, I went to Papa Tony's right around close to try to get some help from Papa Tony. Let's just say, it didn't go well. Please, Papa Tony, I really need your help with this. I'm sure someone who's been in the Drummie business this long, such as yourself, would understand. Do you know how I managed to stay in the game so long, Mr. Heffley? I'm not sloppy. You've been very sloppy so far. That Jefferson kid will be your downfall. Sloppy? I'm not sloppy. I have 20 Drummies in the car I can bring you. Just try one. You'll see that helping me will be worth your time. Please. You and me are pretty much the same. We are not the same, Mr. Heffley. You lack any of the skills needed to make it in the Drummie game. I refuse to waste my time with a middle schooler who maybe makes $30 a drummie. Your pride will get you killed in this game. Let that be a warning to you. Now get out and never say the word drummie near me again. Fine, be that way. See if I ever buy your Chuck E. Cheese wannabe pizza ever again. With Papa Tony off the list, I decided to suck it up and ask Leland for an alliance. Turns out, he wasn't exactly in favor of helping me either. Oh, and Greg, if you ever think of coming here again, you will die. Realizing I had no choice, I called Rowley and told him we are on our own. Rowley, we need a cook. Now. Wednesday. Holy shit, this is getting ugly fast. Rowley and I had an order for 500 drummies, which would have made us $30,000 since we charged $60 a wing, not $30 like Papa Tony claimed. We arrived at the address, loaded our bags with as many drummies as we could, and headed in. To our surprise, there's nobody in the room except Baby Gibson. I was starting to think this was a prank of some sort until I found a piece of paper. Give Gibson the drummies. Once he has them, I'll give you your money. From Slick. Slick? That name rings a bell, but I can't tell from where, which is the problem. See, rule number 1 of drummies is, if you don't feel 100% sure, get the fuck out. I was calculating a plan of how to get out of there without giving Gibson any of our drummies, but also getting our money when, well, what have we here? 2 grown men selling drummies to lil ol' me, which Baby knows is highly against the law. It would be a real shame if Baby had a call for the shit. I should have guessed there'd be sting ops, but I never guessed we'd be the ones to walk right into one. We were able to make it back to the RV without the police catching on to us, but to be honest, the whole sting had us shook. One slip and bam, you're in prison. And let me tell you, they don't like drummy dealers in Plainview County Prison. That was when Rowley suggested we get his dad to protect us from legal trouble. First off, I had no idea Mr. Jefferson was a lawyer. Second, Mr. Jefferson is the last person who needs to know about our drummy business. He'd probably have me shipped off and get Rowley off scot-free. Since I wasn't really in the mood to deal with that, I made Rowley promise that if I go down, he's coming right down with me. With that all sorted, we got to work finding an attorney we could afford. I think I found one. Legal trouble? Been there, done that. Gary Goodman. Gotta call Gary. Attorney at law. Thursday. While Rowley was out last night on a drop, I did some research on Gary Goodman. Turns out he's, got an interesting past. He even did some time in jail for an incident a few years ago. Let's just say he's not allowed within 30 blocks of a middle school, which is a problem since that's where Rowley and I operate the most. Speaking of Rowley, he came back from his run looking absolutely terrified. Rowley explained that the drop was going well, and right as he was about to get the money, the renowned hitman known as Uncle Larry showed up. Guess who's here? Uncle Larry. The only reason Rowley made it out was because Larry struck the boiler, which blew up and sent him flying. I told Rowley about Goodman, and that seemed to get him back on track. So we set up an appointment with Goodman for tomorrow, and got to work figuring out how to get rid of Larry. We knew that as long as Larry was still out there, no drummy dealer was safe. And even though we were all technically rivals, the old saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, comes to mind. If we can get someone to help take out Larry, then who's to say we can't take out 2 birds with 1 stone? Friday, after school, when Rowley and I got back to the RV to make a batch of drummies for Bryce, we found a huge surprise waiting for us. Mom! This whole time, I'd been so careful to keep Mom from finding out about our drummy operation, and here she was, practically inviting herself in. Greg, you need to stay away from the trailer. There's a ton of illegal drummies in there. I'm trying to call your uncle to get him to confess to having them, then I'm calling the cops. As easy as it would have been to pin the whole thing on Uncle Gary, I wasn't about to let Mom think he was running my operation. Mom, those drummies are mine. Rowley and I have been in business all school year. No need for cops. Well, that went as well as I thought it would. Let me get this straight. You and Rowley are drummy dealers? Yes, and we've made over $2,500 this week alone. I finally have my own income. Gregory Heffley. You know that drummies are illegal. I need to go to the police with this. As Mom dialed the police, my mind was racing. If I surrendered to Mom, I'd be grounded for who knows how long. On the other hand, I'd lose everything if the police got me. Of course, you don't become a top drummy dealer of Plainview Middle School by being dumb. You have to think fast, and that's exactly what I did. Cook for me! I realized my story wasn't the tightest, but if it got Larry locked up and got us off the hook, then I deserved a Pulitzer. Believe it or not, that worked. Hello? Police? A man named Lawrence Hink, who operates under the name Uncle Larry. Mom told Rowley and I to go home, but we had no intention of going home since our meeting with Goodman was in a few hours. And that time, we decided to see Albert, since he was the one who told us about Drummies, but he didn't really seem to be in the mood to talk. Listen, Albert, too many people are onto you. 3, 4, 5 named Clive, get in Clive, what? I'll, come back later then. I left Albert to whatever he was doing, and headed downtown with Rowley to meet Goodman at the address he gave us. Is this some kind of joke? After waiting for about 20 minutes, Rowley started to worry we had walked into another sting. Listen, Greg, I know you hired this guy, but I have a feeling like Baby Gibson is gonna show up again. I'm scared, man. After another 30 minutes passed, Rowley had convinced me that we were most likely in danger, and we were about to leave when Goodman finally showed up. Look, I'm a pretty desperate guy and all, but I think I made a bad choice here. Gentlemen, do you know you have rights? The Declaration of Independence says so. Still, I can't get too harsh. We explained our situation to Goodman, and this is how that went. And now my mom, Papa Tony, and Uncle Larry are on my ass. I might have bought some time, but they'll catch up to us eventually. What should we do? Come on, dude. I'm getting nervous over here. Alright, you definitely need to keep the Larry story up with your mom. But for the others, have you considered murder? After he suggested this, Rowley and I just left. We went to him to stay out of trouble, not to get ourselves into more. I'll admit I'm scared, if hearing things in class is any sign. Mr. Heffley, did you finish your murder I signed last night? Monday. Things for me have been, well, shit, since we met up with Goodman the other day. Rowley was so upset that I hired someone who pushed murder that he actually left the business. No, absolutely not. When it was just us selling chicken wings, I was down. But now your so-called lawyer is telling us to go against Joshy's... Oh my god. Not this Joshy guy. Look, Goodman was a mistake, I'll admit. We're not gonna murder anyone, Rowley. Honest. Get out, Greg. You're in danger. And I don't want to be in danger for stupid Drummies. Now, Rowley and I have had our fair share of fights. Drummies are no Drummies. But he went too far this time. I gave him a piece of my mind. Rowley, who do you think you're talking to? Let me tell you, friend, I am not in danger. No, I am the danger. I'm not the nerd who answers a knock at the classroom door and gets pantsed. No, I am the one who knocks. Even though that speech was awesome, I still had to leave Rowley's house. So, now I'm on my own. I have a ton of things to do. While keeping up with the drummy business, I've got to find a way to take out not only Uncle Larry, but Papa Tony and the Mingos. On a positive, I decided on an alias name, Heffenberg. At this point, who needs Rowley? Business is booming and there's nobody to share the spotlight with. I must admit, I gave some extra thought to what Goodman said. If I took out Larry, Tony, or whoever else, I could be the top spot in all of Plainview. I decided to take out Larry first, since as far as I know, he's a nobody assassin, unlike Tony, who I'm fairly certain has goons. So what have you got there, little fella? I've gotta say, I'm impressed by how stupid Larry was to stick his face that close to TNT-laced Tattle Turtle. Tuesday. Today at school, I was shocked to hear my name over the PA system. Heffenberg. Report. Why the fuck are they using Heffenberg as this guy's actual name now? Report to Vice Principal Roy's office immediately. First off, I don't know how anyone got my name. Okay, there we go. Or how they were stupid enough to think I'd just stand up and admit that was me. Remember, Rule 1 of selling Drummies is always be one step ahead. I wanted to investigate this, but like I said, standing up when I heard the name would be stupid. During the class change, when the hall was packed with students, I slipped into Roy's office, and let's just say I was not expecting who I found. Well, hello there, Heffenberg. You took a while to get here. Rowley? What on earth was he doing with Ward, who was one of Leland's goons? My first thought was that Ward was holding Rowley hostage, but then I saw a new tattoo on Rowley's arm, meaning honor the chicken. This could only mean one thing. After our big fight, Rowley betrayed me. I can't believe he did this. Rowley started to launch into this big spiel about how in Leland's circle, he was actually treated as a member of the team, not just a punching bag. Right then is when everything went black. I woke up a few hours later in Leland's hideout. He told me that after Rowley joined him, they were able to get info from him and bring down my entire operation. That's it. Everything Rowley and I had worked hard on the last 4 months, gone. Then Leland said something that chilled me to my core. After taking out all the others, I now get to take out Heffenberg. Well, shit. Tuesday. You probably thought I had died at Leland's, didn't you? Well, I'm still here. How did I get out? Well, it's actually kind of funny. Literally, the moment Leland opened the door to kill me, I spotted a little baggie on the floor. Leland went off on this long speech that I didn't really listen to. This gave me time to grab the baggie. Chopped nuts. Keep away from Leland. Highly allergic. I totally forgot Leland was allergic to peanuts. I figured one of his goons had left it around by accident. Leland was rambling about what he'd do when I was dead, so I made a move. Let's just say that bag was accurate. Leland puffed up like a balloon, and that was my cue to run. While fleeing, I was afraid I was gonna run into Leland's goons or Rowley. But I guess they all took the night off or something, because there was nobody around to stop me. That was the night I boarded a plane for Isla de Corrales. Gave Plainview a big ol' middle finger and never looked back. I gotta say, this place is a lot nicer now that the island feds aren't after me, since I'm technically now Heffenberg, not Greg Heffley. I've even got my own stand on the beach, and let me tell you, these people eat up Drummies like their lives depend on it. Los Hermanos Drummy. Well, now I'm rich, and I can happily thank the day I started baking Drummies. Well, there we have it. That was Breaking Bad, but with Drummies in Diary of a Wimpy Kid. That was pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie. We got a bunch of references to the actual show, like, we got, of course, Saul Goodman here, but in this is Gary Goodman. He's Uncle Gary. That's actually really funny how they incorporated that to the actual story. So thank you to WH Gamer again for recommending this story. It was actually a great time reading this. But that's gonna do it for this video. I hope all of you guys enjoyed. Of course, if you did like the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Diary of a Wimpy Kid fanfiction stories. If you got any recommendations on what you want me to read, leave it in the comments below, and eventually I'll get to it and make it its own video. But that's going to do it for me. I hope all you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.